Jase Matthews commits to the Auburn Tigers. Let's go!
You are Locked On Auburn, your daily podcast on the Auburn Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into Locked On Auburn, your daily Auburn Tigers podcast. I'm your host, Zac Blackerby, and thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. Reaction edition with Brian Smith, host of The Portal, Locked On's recruiting, NIL, transfer portal show. Jace Matthews, a top 100 player, an elite player in the 2026 class, commits to the Auburn Tigers over LSU, over Ole Miss, over Texas A&M. This was a big one. Brian and Hugh Freeze and the Auburn coaching staff got this one done.
This is a young man that I am probably higher on than anybody. His film is insane.
Yeah.
And I just love his overall athleticism. He for those that don't know, he lives like the first town north of where Deuce is from. So they're buddies. They know each other. Okay. I'm sure that played a role in it. But like, I don't care what sport that you really want to use Jace Matthews in. If you put him at center fielder, you can make him a triple jumper. You can make him a soccer player. It wouldn't matter. He can jump out of the gym, has incredible hand-eye coordination, and he's fast. Yeah. So, I mean, this is an NFL player in waiting. The only reason that he's not talked about more is he's in a small town in Mississippi.
Yeah.
It's just simple. He's in a small town.
And even with that, Brian, Rivals has him as the number 2 receiver in this class.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you watch his film and you're like, okay, well, he's beating guys that he should, but he makes people look really bad. Like this, there's no nice way to say like I just watched this video again for fun right before we came on. And I'm like, sure. This is hilarious. This is hilarious. His ability at the line to shake and move is more like a 5'9" guy instead of a 6'1", 6'2" guy. And when you combine that, I would assume that he's over 40 inches in vertical or pretty close to it.
He's so athletic. I mean,
yeah. I've said this before on my show. I did on the Portal podcast. My show this morning started off with him. Like he could do a dunk through his legs when he was 9th grade. Those aren't normal people.
Yeah, most people can't do that ever, let alone at night. Right.
So anyway, I loved his film though because he makes catches where the quarterback is like, "Are you even throwing it to him? Like this is terrible," and the ball is still caught. So like he makes catches behind his head, he catches the ball over guys, he jumps back over them. He creates plays that have zero to do with coaching or play calling, and that's at the upper echelon of this Southeastern Conference. That's the only way you make it to that level. The only way you can compete with LSU, Georgia, Bama. Like you need guys like this. He's one of them.
Yeah, I mean, you look at his offer list. Every school in the country would take Jace Matthews in a heartbeat, and then obviously his Final Four: Auburn, LSU, Ole Miss, Texas A&M. I mean, those are the schools that you're trying to beat. You're trying to pass them in the hierarchy of SEC programs right now, and the only way to do that is to beat them off the field, so you can beat them on the field. And this is a step in the right direction. And like when you look at, I mean, the top part of Auburn's class, you feel good about it now with Jace Matthews, with Jaquez Wilkes, with Hezekiah Harris, with Wilson Zaire, Peyton Falzone. There, I think there's kind of differing opinions on, exactly how good he can be, but like clearly the athleticism and the traits are there. There's been a lot of talk about Auburn's class, and like, sure, I think some of the questions are warranted, but this makes you feel better. This has to make you feel better about it, getting a guy like Jace Matthews.
2 parts to that. Number one, the Mathews thing is straightforward. If you're an Auburn fan and you're not excited about this, I question whether you're an Auburn fan.
Yeah,
this is an NFL player.
Like, let's go.
Yeah, this is an NFL player. I think he will be 3 and out. So he's one of those guys. But anyway, the other part of this is something we've talked about, and it's a billion times more complex. This tells me that Auburn's NIL and like the whole health settlement, NIL clearinghouse thing, they pivoted in some capacity because while he's friends with Deuce and, Auburn's recruited him hard and done all those things, you're not going to go somewhere if your NIL offer from a school is like half of the others.
Yeah, it's got to be competitive. It doesn't have to be the best, but it's got to be competitive.
Yeah, this is how NIL really works. It's still relationships that win recruitments, but at the end, if it's like just a mountain more for school number 2 that they're offering, you're probably going to school number 2. I get it.
Yeah.
I don't know who came in number one. I don't know Jace personally, but chances are Auburn was very competitive. And like A&M's NIL, I would imagine they made the biggest offer. Like they got oil money. That's just different.
I mean, LSU too. I mean, LSU's not afraid to spend some money either.
No, and Ole Miss is the wild card. They don't spend quite as much, but it's in-state and it's pretty attractive to look at Lane's offense if you're a receiver, to be quite frank.
It has to be.
So
sure.
I think you need to give a little kudos to the Auburn staff here overall, because the relationship had to be really good from Freeze all the way to the training staff.
Yeah, when we say it all the time, like perception's reality with recruiting, like they had to overcome some stuff to do this. They had to overcome a lot of the negative chatter about the Auburn program right now to overcome all of this. So like, I think that's a big deal in all of this as well. So we've talked about this before. The receiver situation in the 2026 class has been a little interesting because they've had some studs and then they've been dumped by those studs for I think different reasons. Denarius Gray flipping to Kentucky, Devin Carter flipping back to FSU. And now you look at it, it's like, okay, well, like it seemed like they got second or third for CD Morgan. It's like, that's a bummer. But then all of a sudden, like you get Jase Matthews and like he kind of makes you forget about all of that because his level of impact is that good.
Yeah, I think that you needed, if you're not going to take numbers at receiver, you needed at least one. There's no such thing as a sure thing, but this is about as close as it's going to get.
Yeah, you feel pretty good about the odds.
So if you add one more guy, even if it's more of a quote unquote developmental receiver in this class, maybe they get some kid in November. I have no idea. If you've got an NFL player amongst your wide receiver recruits, it's always thumbs up. That's just how it works. Secondarily, I think this also signifies that they're probably going to go all in on some other kids. I don't know which ones, but I'm going to go ahead and predict that
maybe a 5-star safety, for instance.
No, that's possible as well. But that's ironically another Mississippi kid. He's a great kid, great dad too. I also want to just throw out just on the receiver thing. I heard this right before the podcast, and when we're recording this. Bud Elliott on the Cover 3 podcast, CBS, said that he talks to a bunch of the people, college football. He heard more buzz about Singleton than anybody else the GMs wish they'd have got. Auburn, as far as offensive players in the nation, that's the one that all the GMs wish they'd have gotten. So just want to throw that out there. Like wide receivers.
Some of the videos coming out of camp, you can see why.
Yeah, so really it shouldn't be that hard to keep Jase Matthews in the fold with what they have at receiver, and it should be able to help sell other receivers as well. Cam Coleman and Singleton as a 1-2, about as good as it's going to get in college football.
Yeah, and Malcolm's in there. Perry's having a great fall. Horatio, like that's a good group. And if you're Jase Matthews, like you're going into a loaded receiver room. But I do think the path to playing time is there because Singleton, we assume, will be gone. He has eligibility left, but we assume he'll go to the draft. Yeah, Horatio, I think, is out of eligibility, and I think he'll try to fight for a draft spot for sure. And like I think there will be targets that can go his direction. Like sure, you'll still have Cam, you'll have Malcolm, you'll have Perry, but I think Jase Matthews, from a skill set point of view, still offers something different than those guys. Maybe not Malcolm. Like I think they're kind of more similar. I think he's more similar to Malcolm than he is to Cam. Would you say that's fair?
Cam is so long. He's kind of
it's a different type of build, right?
He's like an NBA wing forward.
Yeah. I have a comp for Jase Matthews, a player comparison. And I want you to tell me if I'm crazy or not. Because
I know you're crazy.
I'm shooting high with this one. Let's do that
careful.
in just a second. Right here on Locked On Auburn. Today's show brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. FanDuel is America's #1 sports book. I don't know if you guys saw this. Auburn was a favorite over Baylor for forever. It shifts to Baylor -1.5. Last night, Auburn's a 2.5-point favorite again. This line is crazy, and you can follow all the action over at FanDuel Sportsbook. If you're new to FanDuel, new customers can bet just $5, get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Do you think Auburn should be favored in this game, Brian? I personally do. I do, but that line shifting basically overnight tells me that Vegas knows something about an injury. That's a lot. That's a lot. Yeah. Take it for what it's worth.
Somebody got hurt. Yeah. Somebody got hurt.
I don't know. Or maybe they just looked at the roster again. Who knows? New to FanDuel. Once again, new customers get $5, get $150 if your first bet wins. Open the FanDuel app today. Visit FanDuel.com today to get started. Thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first or second listen every single day. Make your portal, the portal, your next listen every single day. Brian does a fantastic job. He talks about Jase Matthews a good bit too. He's seriously, Brian was the first guy to be like so high on Jase Matthews. Like you were the first national guy that I heard say like Jase is an elite receiver in this class. He trended up after you said that. I think you nailed it. But Jase Matthews, now a part of Auburn's 2026 class. A player comp strictly on the field that I see when I watch some of his tape. Tell me if I'm crazy or not. I'm going to go a little old school, not super old school, but I'm going to say Percy Harvin for what he did at Florida.
Percy Harvin had some of the most unbelievable stop and start ability I ever saw. That's the one thing. I don't know how many outside of like Allen Iverson, but
sure.
The hand-eye coordination is very similar. That's the one thing with Jase that's very rare for guys that jump like that.
Yeah.
They're not usually blessed with the hands that he has. Like, that's why I brought up, like, playing baseball. Like, I think his best sport would have been baseball if he'd have put him in center field and just let him chase stuff down.
Yeah.
Play 15 years in MLB. But that's a good trait to have in football because if you can track the ball, then obviously you can play wide receiver. So that's interesting because this is a player that, because like Harvin played for Florida and Urban, Jase would have been great in that offense. If you're running spread, jet sweeps, put him in wildcat, use him in the red zone for jump balls. There's a lot of it. Of course, Harvin went on playing the NFL for the Seahawks, etc. Very successful player.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously, high praise for Jase Matthews. What does this do moving forward? You touched on it a little bit, and some of this it depends on like what Auburn does behind the scenes as far as their approach to NIL and rev share, and their comfort level in paying guys. But the smoke around Braylon Womack isn't going away. And if you go a few weeks in a row where you get a Wilson Zaire and then a Jase Matthews, and then you're able to get a Braylon Womack 5-star safety, which Jase is not a 5-star yet, but if he keeps his current rating, my understanding is rivals will eventually give him a 5-star when they do that at the end of senior year and getting more tape and all that. So I do think Jase will eventually be a 5-star. I don't think he technically is yet, but he's ranked high enough to be one. But Braylon Womack, a 5-star safety, he's a 5-star today. I feel better and better about that recruitment every single day, and them getting Jase Matthews makes me feel tremendously better about it.
Well, again, number one, they're obviously not shy on the NIL, and it also shows Womack, hey, they can get Mississippi kids, and finally, the class is starting to pick up. It's more of a cool thing. You don't want to be one of those guys in a class that's got like 12 kids and there's 3 really good players or something.
Right.
Auburn has turned it back on. It's been a very odd, maybe the oddest recruiting class for Auburn I've ever seen. The peaks and valleys have been massive. I still don't understand all of it, but they're trending in the right direction. So if they get him, I don't know what do you think their total is that they're shooting for? Total 16, 17 kids?
That's been what's kind of been discussed. I think that seems low, but that's what people are saying.
Okay, if they're doing that, they got to be planning to spend some money in the portal because that seems awfully low.
Jase would be 12.
Yeah, that gives you 4, possibly 5 more, which is not all that difficult. You flip 1 or 2 kids and you evaluate a couple of seniors that you take. That's easy. But class is under 20 players in today's era, especially with the scholarships going up to 105. I don't understand the math. I don't know.
Yeah, like it makes me feel better when I see that Auburn's taking a smaller class, but then I ask why. Because
that's the part I'm concerned about. I don't understand it either.
Yeah. Because you're recruiting this class for like 2 or 3 years from now. Correct. And that'll be after your current sophomores leave. And like that's your team. Like that's your talent, is all these sophomores. The freeze 4, and then, these guys who are blossoming on the defensive side of the football, like your Jay Crawford, your Caleb Harris's, your DeMarcus Riddicks, like that is the core of your team. And you need to be getting ready to replace that core in this class, I think. But maybe they want to go heavier next year or in the portal a year from now. I mean, there's other ways to go around it, but I do think the timing is interesting.
What position do you think they're going to be the most need of after this season in the portal?
In the portal, like for an instant fix?
Correct.
They'll probably have to get tackles. They're losing both their starting tackles. I think they like some of the guys that are behind them, but I don't know if you can just go into the season with just them. So I would say offensive tackle, and then I'll always say defensive tackle in a conversation like this.
Well, that's an interesting thing because those are extremely expensive positions, because there aren't any.
Sure.
So that's why this makes me wonder a little bit. If they can take an offensive tackle later on, like if they find a devodevelopmental kid, I bet you money they take one later on.
Well, I think they've got their developmental kid, the Nikau Heppy from New Zealand. I think that's their developmental guy.
They might take another, because if you're short on tackle down the road, we've been down this road before. You have
and I think they've got guys that could start next year at tackle and be fine. I don't think they'll have the depth that they have this year. They like Tyler Johnson, and I think Tyler Johnson next year will be a solid player. I think who else is there? Like Favor Edwin, that's about time for him to kind of turn it on and give him the keys. Broderick Scholl's a guy that you and I both think was a little underrated last year. Will he be ready as a second-year play? They really like Ty Buster. They had him at tackle in spring. So they've got guys. It just won't be as deep as it currently is. So that's why I think they'll probably have to get one or two in the portal.
That's really interesting with the numbers, but I don't know. Auburn's class next year should be 25 players. The 27 group will be they've got to hit
the 27 group. Sure.
They're going to have to hit, and next year is the Armageddon class for Auburn. They got to hit in-state and beat Bama head-to-head. That'll be a really big discussion.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, if they can prove that they're better this year, they're in a prime spot to have a top 5 class in 27. They got to prove it. That's the only thing holding Auburn back right now. Is
10,000 times.
Is it actually going to work or not?
They've got to win those close games, and they can't have any duds against teams like a Kentucky or whatever that killed them like Arkansas game last year.
Yeah, Cal, whatever. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, Jase Matthews, a part of this 2026 class, electrifying player, very, very good stuff. Brian, how can people check out everything you've got going on?
Locked on the portal, YouTube, Spotify, Apple. Click that download automatically on Apple if you would. Get us anywhere you want on Spotify and everywhere else. We are always available.
Please like the video. Please subscribe. We'll see you next time. This has been Locked On Auburn.